Good afternoon. I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. We've had a few developments over the past week or so with Reform UK, and I'm a bit confused to the signalling that the party's putting out, but I'm going to give my opinion on what's going on. We've had a Tory wet from Boris Johnson's time as Prime Minister that it has defected to Reform. His name is Jake Berry. Now, he is on the wet side of the party, so he's one of the moderates in the mould of Theresa May and Ruth Davidson from the Scottish Tories, and he's very much a One Nation Conservative. Now, he's defected to Reform UK, and yet we get messaging from the leadership of Reform to say that they won't accept people like Suella Braverman or Liz Truss. I'm a little bit confused by that. Liz Truss was a Liberal Democrat and she was a Republican when she was a teenager, and now she's considered too extreme for Reform UK. I find that really strange, and I'm going to get into what I think may be behind that later in the video. But more to the point, James McMurdock, he was the MP that, I think it was Thurrock and Thanet, I think that's his constituency down that way anyway, and he was suspended. He suspended himself from the party. He put out a tweet earlier this week saying, "Further to my statement tweeted on the 5th of July, I have now had a chance to take specialist legal advice and on expert relevance in the field. In light of that advice, what is privilege and I choose to keep private at this time, I've decided to continue my parliamentary career as an independent MP, where he can focus 100% on the interests of his constituents." So he's going to remain an independent. He's out of Reform UK by the look of it completely, and Lee Anderson is calling for him to resign the whip and actually trigger a by-election permanently. So he doesn't even want him to be an independent. He wants him to go into a by-election, and probably they'll catapult somebody else into that seat if they can help it. But here's the rub. James McMurdock is actually close with Rupert Lowe, and James McMurdock is, by all accounts, a decent guy. Yes, he may have made mistakes in his youth. Who hasn't? But he's a good person, he's a good father, and he's a good MP, apparently. So the electorate in his constituency would probably support him. I know I would if I was in his constituency. As I say, I've got skin in the game. I'm one of the Reform constituencies, Runcorn and Halesby. Sarah Pochen is my MP, and she is a marked improvement on the Labour backbencher that I had previously. And she's asking difficult questions on immigration and integration and the houses of multiple occupancy. So I'm sitting pretty here with my MP. She's pretty damn good in my view. And then we move on to this. James McMurdock, even today, he is giving his support to the Reform UK grassroots. He's given them lots and lots of support, and clearly they like him as well. So I don't know what the hell the leadership at Reform UK are playing at, to be honest. Now, this alleged financial impropriety has been public knowledge for quite a while, and it's not something that needed to be exposed because it's in the public domain, and it's only become an issue now. Now, there's still people online that are rallying towards the idea it's because he's close to Rupert Lowe. I don't know if that's true or not, and that's one view. That's one view on the matter, okay. Another view is that James McMurdock was a paper candidate and he wouldn't have passed the vetting process, and they wanted him gone because of the sins of the past, basically the prison sentence and the assault on a former girlfriend that he was convicted for, and they want him gone for that reason, and they've used this moment, years out from the next general election, to get rid of somebody who wouldn't have made the cut originally. Irrespective of whether he is a good MP or not, they just want him out of the party for the sake of appearances. So that's another view, and I really don't know where I am on this, because we had Richard Tice, when all this came out about this assault and conviction in his past, that he was saying we're a Christian country, Christian forgiveness. He went on the news and he was grilled by Sky News and the legacy media about it, and he was there batting for James, and he was defending him, basically saying, listen, past is the past, let's move forward. So I really don't know what to believe on this matter. You comment below and you let me know, what do you think? As I say, This concerns me as a Reform voter and a Reform member. Is this the way the government treats all of their MPs? Is my MP next on the chopping block because she's too vocal about women's rights issues in regards to Islam, the houses of multiple occupancy? Are Reform UK going to decide that that's too right-leaning for her, and they're going to want her gone as well? I really don't know. I am not confident at the moment in the leadership decisions at Reform. I can say that because I'm a paid-up member and a voter for them, so I can critique anything, and I'm critiquing the party because I don't agree with the lines that they're taking currently. Then we move on to this particular piece of information. Rupert Lowe, he's actually put out a tweet this week saying that he's got 16 MPs to sign the illegal migrant mass deportation motion, and James McMurdock is one of them. So this is another thing. James McMurdock is building alliances with the other ousted MP, Rupert Lowe, and Rupert Lowe has gone on record saying that James is a good person and he's a good friend. Is this the thing that's annoying Courage? Is this the thing that he's not happy with? Again, I really don't know. I don't know any of the players personally, but all of this focus, if I can spin it in a positive way, again, it's all about reform. No one's talking about the Tories. Nobody's talking about Labour, apart from how crap Labour are. They're all talking about reform this, reform that, reform, reform, reform. So reform are taking all the headlines, they're taking all the inch columns. So the name's in the press, and some people say no publicity is bad publicity. And the thing about them skewering towards the centre, could this be them hedging the bets? They don't want to seem too extreme as to not alienate the electorate. Now, me personally, I put out a post on my channel earlier this week. I don't think that's an issue. I think that the legacy parties, Labour and the Tories, are just that bad, that they would get in by default regardless of what the manifesto said, how extreme it was. They would get in either way. So if that is the line that they're taking, I do think that's a miscalculation. It's very exciting. We're 4 years out from the next election. Currently, as it stands, all the Red Wall MPs still need to lose their seats to Reform, because at the moment there is no viable alternative. But you let me know if all of these schisms in Reform are bothering you. You let me know, would you back another party currently out there that isn't Reform? Would you go back to the Tories? All of this is up for debate at the moment, and as I say, we don't have to make a decision yet. There's no election. My view is clear: Reform until something better comes along. That's my view. Then we look at the statement that Lee Anderson actually put out. The statement says, Lee Anderson, the party's chief whip, has called for him to step down, being James McMurdock, so a by-election can take place in his seat. He said he's compiled a list of questions for McMurdock about his historic business practices and said that he could put his case forward to the people, essentially, allowing the party to respond with accuracy and confidence. Anderson continued, McMurdock has failed to respond to the questions raised, and therefore Reform UK feel he doesn't meet these standards to remain as MP. This isn't new information now. This is the thing. This has been in the public domain for some time. So I'm rather confused by the counter-signalling. Alright? You comment below, you let me know. I've usually got faith and confidence in Reform. I'm tentatively still supporting Reform because they are the best of a bad lot. But a lot of people in the country may be having their faith questioned. You let me know. Have a good afternoon and thank you for your time.